So yesterday, I went to go pick this car up, and my expectations were very, very low because I have heard so many bad things about this car. This thing gets a lot of hate, and there's a few points where I agree, but I'm here to tell you that this thing might actually be better than you think. Now, I know, this video is about why the BMW i8 failed and no one really wants to own one, but I'm here to actually give an honest review about this car. I don't want to just say the thing is junk because that's what a lot of people say, but this thing has a lot of cool stuff to offer. Probably the most insane place to start about this car is that when it first came out, this thing had an MSRP of $150,000. The only thing that depreciates more than a BMW i8 is a Maserati. In fact, I lost $11,000 in my Maserati Gran Turismo in 7 months of ownership. But what makes this car so incredibly special and possibly worth the $50,000. You decide by the end of this video. But it's the fact that there is no cross-shopping here. This is the only car of its kind. And so you either want a BMW i8 or you don't. There's no other competition here. And despite this car being over 10 years old at this point, this thing still looks like it could have been designed today. And this would fit in with a car made in 2025. I mean, one thing you cannot hate on is this design. In the front of the BMW i8, I absolutely love how much is going on here, but yet it still actually all works together. You have silver, black, and blue, but it's all mixed in everywhere. Like, the body panels are constantly changing. There's so many angles, but it isn't over the top. It's like, it's done just right. Now, I genuinely believe there is not a single bad angle with this car. Even on the side, you have so many swerves and scoops and different things going on. Again, this thing looks like a real, true supercar. By the way, if you were looking at these wheels and thinking, these look pretty massive, well, they're 20-inch wheels, and these tire sizes are a lot more thin than you would think. In the front, this only has 215s. When you move along to the back, also 20-inch wheels, and these tire widths are 245. That's pretty thin. Well, because the BMW i8 only makes 357 horsepower and has all-wheel drive, you really do not need wider tires than that, and even now, if you floor it, you're not going to lose traction. All right, you guys, I could not wait much longer. I had to throw the GoPro on and talk about this car's performance and go for a drive. Of course, I'm assuming you guys already knew this thing had butterfly doors, but this is the coolest looking car you can buy for under $100,000 without question. Guys, in the future, I'm not gonna lie, I could genuinely see myself owning this car. I mean, oh my gosh, it is so unbelievably cool. Now, to touch on the back really quick before we hop in there and go over the interior and the driving experience, the back is just as cool as every other angle of this car. Nothing looks like the BMW i8. This thing looks like it's out of the movie Tron or something. Even the badges are so cool. These taillights, nothing is like that. You got the 1.5 liter engine under there. By the way, it's a 3-cylinder. That's one of the things that makes this car get so much hate. When you look at it, your heart tells you you are looking at a V10. But the soul of this car is a 3-cylinder hybrid. What the heck? Now, one very interesting fact about the i8, by the way, is the fact that the engine itself, the 3-cylinder, makes 228 horsepower. Those numbers will make a car guy kind of cry, especially if a car has looks like this. But the battery adds an extra 129 horsepower. So that's what actually brings this thing up to 357 horsepower, which, by the way, 357 is no slouch. This thing has a 0 to 60 time of about 4.2 seconds. And by the way, one thing I want to touch on is these door struts wear out very quickly. It looks like you have to replace these once every year or so. And well, I don't know if you guys can hear that. You're gonna hear it when we close that one. It makes a very strange sound. I mean, it's not bad, but you'd rather not have to listen to that. And Getting in this car, guys, is one of the worst experiences ever. This door sill, I'm not sure how to put this into full perspective here, but it is absolutely massive, and you have barely any room, so you pretty much have to crouch down. It is, well, I guess you do get the full supercar experience getting in this car. Take a listen. Sounds a bit weird. All right, you guys, inside of the BMW i8. This is a 10-year-old car, and on the outside and inside, it looks so cool. I mean, massive props to the design team at BMW who made this car, because this thing is holding up so unbelievably well, even 10 years later. Let's start this thing up. Right away, the sounds that this thing makes, it gives electric vibes, which is kind of unfortunate. Now let's go ahead and throw this thing in drive, and well, I'm not really a huge fan of these BMW shifters, so we're gonna push this button in and then pull it down, and that's gonna put it into drive here. And let's get moving right away. Now down here, if you want to drive off in electric mode, all you have to do is press this eDrive button. Assuming you have enough battery charge, which, by the way, the battery will actually charge as you are driving. When you let your foot off the gas, it's gonna slow down a bit more than usual, and that is what's gonna create the energy to actually charge the battery. So right now we have 8 miles of driving on full electric mode, although, well, actually, let's start this video off by doing that. Pop it into eDrive, and now engine is fully off. We are on only the battery here. Let's floor it. Watch this. That would arguably be the slowest 0 to 60 time I have ever experienced in my entire life. And so eDrive, I mean, you know, it's cool, it's quirky, but if you're looking to have fun in the car, what you want to do is pop this little gear lever over, put it into sport mode, and now you get a car that is actually semi-enjoyable. Now, before I talk about a lot of the pitfalls about this car and why so many people hate it, again, I want to give this thing a fair review and talk about how does this actually drive and what is the experience of being behind the wheel of this car. Well, let's downshift. So the first time you do that in the BMW i8, if you have low expectations of this car, you're quickly going to realize this thing is not slow at all. Yeah, 357 horsepower, that doesn't sound like a lot, especially when you're looking at a car that looks like it would have 600 or 700. But don't forget, the 0 to 60 time of this car is 4.2 seconds. Guys, even in 2025, that is not slow. I mean, I will be honest, guys, seriously, out of all the cars I've driven, even this, I have this feeling it is a little bit more than 357 horsepower, because I do actually feel a kickback in my seat. Now, that is likely because this car, when you drive it, when you push on the gas pedal, it is very boosty. It is nothing like naturally aspirated power that you would get from like a inline 6, although most BMW inline 6s are turboed. But if you're thinking of a naturally aspirated inline 6 or a V8 or a V10, it is not that type of power. As soon as you put your foot down on the gas pedal, you just feel this boost sensation, and that is what makes this thing actually pretty fun to drive. Yeah, you can definitely get yourself into a lot of trouble with this car. I mean, I am genuinely impressed with how fast this thing is. I'm being serious. I know 357 doesn't sound like a lot, but that 0 to 60 time is no joke, and that's thanks to this car, well, being as boosty as it is, and the handling is not that bad. Now, compared to most of the videos you watch on this channel, you're probably listening to the sound that it makes, and, well, That's the first line item of what is so disappointing about this car. The sound that you are hearing is sound that is piped into this car through speakers. And so it is, for the most part, fake, which sucks. Now, I'm not going to complain about that too much, because honestly, guys, the way that this sounds, even though it is fake, well, it still is kind of enjoyable to listen to that noise. It makes driving a hybrid car of this design actually somewhat tolerable, because that grumble that you are hearing, even though it's fake, it kind of gives you that same bubbly, happy feeling that you do when you hear the sound of a V8. And so it does kind of compensate for being a 3-cylinder with a battery. Let's go ahead and do a 0 to 60 test in the BMW i8 and see what this thing gets. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. And let's see how this thing actually handles in some corners. Okay, wow. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, this thing drives a lot better than you would expect. I mean, those thin tires, I don't fully understand how this thing does as well as it does with handling and accelerates the way that it does with a battery and a 3-cylinder engine from 2014, 2015. This example is a 2015. Now, let me talk about the negatives, because a lot of this has been positives, okay? What makes this car such a failure is, number one, the looks that it has compared to the performance that you get. It is, I'm saying, yes, it handles well, yes, it accelerates fast, but the only reason I'm saying that is because the only things that I've heard about this car when I've looked into it is just how bad it is. And so when I first got this and first drove it, I was expecting this to be a genuinely slow, terrible car. But then I floored it and I cornered it and I said, people are making it sound a lot worse than it actually is. But looking at this car initially, and if I did not read all these terrible things about this car, I, without a doubt, would have been upset by the performance of this car. I mean, the way it sounds, yeah, the fake noise at least somewhat makes up from it, but anyone outside of this car is going to think you're pretty much driving something electric. The way it naturally sounds, the way it accelerates is very, very subpar, especially when you're talking about its original MSRP of $150,000. That's what makes people hate this car. Man, at $50,000 to $60,000, I think this is a really, really good car. At $150,000, I understand why it got the hate that it did. And again, the practicality is iffy. The back seats are, well, I put boxes back there to kind of show you that it's not that great. If you're gonna have 4 adults in this car, the people in the back are going to have a miserable time. I actually I showed my dad this car right when I got it, and he's in his 70s and he got stuck in the car for a little bit because it is that difficult to get out of this thing. He bumped his head. It is extremely, extremely not practical. But once you're in it and you're driving it, it's like, okay, you know, this is a pretty good daily. Gas mileage, I just checked it, you get 29 miles per gallon, which is, you know, thanks to it being a hybrid, that's not bad. Guys, I think anyone who has ever hated on this car needs to give it a try. I stand by all the complaints with this car if we're talking about its original MSRP. Now that it's at $50,000 or $60,000, I'm here to tell you, I mean, this car, you should change your opinion about this. And again, it's for a very unique type of person, but I am now somebody that would actually consider owning this in the future, as crazy as that sounds. As always, I appreciate y'all for watching. Drop in the comments what you think of this car. Would you buy one? What are your complaints, thoughts, and what do you like about it? Of course, the looks, right? Anyways, guys, I appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon in the next video. Peace out.